Hi guys, in my previous video on making bleach from table salt, we saw that there was a weird formation of an insoluble substance in the electrolysis reaction. So I had suspected two reasons for the formation of the insoluble substance. The first one was there could be some impurities or other substances in the table salt that I used, or it could also be the tap water that brought in some mineral ions like calcium or magnesium that formed that insoluble precipitate. So in this video I'm going to do an experiment to test that. So if I read at the back of this salt, it says the ingredients are salt and sodium silicoaluminate or sodium aluminosilicate. Now that's the part of the answer. Sodium aluminosilicate is an amorphous network of silicon, aluminium, oxygen and sodium atoms, and sodium aluminosilicate is actually insoluble in water, so that could be one of the impurities in our reaction. So my plan for this video is that if I somehow filter out the sodium chloride from sodium aluminosilicate, which is actually water insoluble, I'll do the electrolysis in tap water and in distilled water. And then we can test the second hypothesis if there are impurities from tap water as well. And that would give me an easy and interesting way to test the impurities or hardness of tap water. Now you can see the clear difference between the two. So this one is actually the pure sodium chloride being filtered out. This is a huge difference and this looks perfect for the electrolysis. So both the solutions, tap water and distilled water, look essentially clear, but if we notice carefully, you can see a very small amount of suspended particles floating around, and also in this one. I think these particles are sodium aluminosilicate that actually passed through the filter paper and came into this solution. And because both the tap water and the distilled water samples look nearly similar, I would doubt that there are any dissolved calcium or magnesium ions in tap water that could have caused those precipitates. So I think that my second hypothesis that the tap water had some calcium or magnesium ions is probably false, but still I can test that if these suspended particles dissolve by adding acetic acid into them, then that would mean that these impurities are actually calcium and magnesium, and if not, then that's definitely the leftover sodium aluminosilicate. So it's kind of hard to see in this camera, but I can see that these suspended particles are still floating around. So there were no calcium or magnesium ions that could be dissolved by the acetic acid. And in fact, adding the acetic acid has produced some chlorine gas from this bleach that I can smell till here. So that tells me that my tap water was not really hard, and that's good. So what I want to mention here is that using the electrolysis of pure sodium chloride in our sample of water, we can determine the purity or the hardness of water in terms of the ions present in it. So we confirm that those suspended particles in the electrolysis solution were actually sodium aluminosilicate particles from the salt itself, and it was not the tap water which had the water hardening ions in it. So one of my hypotheses was actually right. So this was all about this video. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe and share.